Okay, this is chapter 12 of Beyond Exile, the Highgate Rhumba, and we last left Frank and his friend Tony just left New York City and landed in London Heathrow Airport. We're an observer of these two at this time, and you can see there is Graham, the taxi driver. We're two, mate, and we have three choices of where to take a cab ride to: University of Oxford, Tony's flat, and the New Scotland Yard. Let's go to Tony's flat. So Tony returns home and hosts Frank at his Tony's posh flat, C93, here in London. And let's look and see if he talks to Frank. He looks at his answering machine, and there's a party in Highgate tonight, says Tony, over at Edwin's, the Earl of Anglesey. You can come in jeans. He's hip to the left and strange, and loves to flatter his high society girls with articulate communists, mysterious spirits, and the cheek of dressing down. So let's see if his response is, when you look at Frank, now you're no longer Tony, you're the observer, and you're following these two gentlemen, and they're going west. And so that puts us in scene 92, London, and if you go east, that's his flat. Let's go south. And that puts us in scene 94, a gated mansion. We can go south again. A leafy courtyard lane. We can go south one more time. Into scene 96, the grand reception hall. After a short walk through the leafy lanes, they show up around 9, unwrapped by helping livery. And in the reception hall, you see there are partygoers, the guests. There's a closet. Let's look at the partygoers. And there's no interaction right now. Let's go to this closet. Scene 97, an outrageous closet. And there's a brunette in there. It's a bit of Catherine Ross, a tad of the other direction. Let's meet her. Okay. Okay, so she's hanging out there. That's nice to know. Let's go back to the reception hall and interact with here, but we can continue to go south. And this takes us to the impressive parlor. Chandelier, wood floors. And escorted downstairs to the seance, whispering between black velvet curtains. We welcome our two new observers, Edwin announces briskly. So, this icon here, this is when you're going up and down stairs. So we go downstairs, and that puts us into scene 99, a not so secret room. What looks like a crystal ball here, and here's Edwin, the host. We welcome witness of the beast. Finding a velour chair in the dark, Tony shields himself with polite irony, and Frank examines the writhing gray ectoplasm forming tubes and pyramids above the table. We look at Edwin. Master Alistair, reveal your desire. Edwin extends his beefy arms as the guests concentrate on the foaming crystal ball of their hub. Look at the crystal ball. Why do you insist on juvenile pranks? Stings a small voice. Everybody expects the ball to paint the familiar sadistic glare. And then we see a character, Lamb, here. But instead, hanging high above their heads is Lamb, Crowley's Tibetan contact, seething gray skin, and wraparound alien eyes. We look at Lamb again. Release me this instant. I have nothing to say to young fools. They drop hands as Lamb disappears in a blue snap of electricity, and with that, he disappears. Interesting. Let's look at that crystal ball again. Nothing. Edwin. Edwin enthuses as the lights come up. Well, stroking his bushy sideburns, it must be time for drinks. Hey ho. You speak to him? He says nothing. No. So again, we're an observer of this. We can go upstairs, back to the parlor, and go south. The lush and green Arboretum. We can't do anything else. We can go north to the grand reception hall again. They return to the reception hall to mingle with the newcomers, spooning rounds of Stilton cheese and spilling vintage champagne on their posh-buckled shoes. Let's see if they'll talk to us now, the partygoers. Edwin circulates, introducing London's rich and beautiful heirs to the Reds and anarchists in the world news. Their carefully coiffed and pressed personalities brushing up against black motorcycle jackets and flowing Arab gowns. Let's see what Edwin here. If you see anybody you're not supposed to know, it's because Guy Burgess made the invitations, Edwin jokes, as he introduces the unbelievably inane to the unconditioned insane. And Tony is separated in the room from Frank. He is walked away. Let's look at Tony. And when you look at Tony, Tony disappears into a secret closet with a brunette in lime pastels. You are Frank. So he Tony disappeared with that girl. In the closet, we can't get to it anymore, so he's apparently locked the door or something. So Frank, we are now Frank at this party by ourselves, mingling. Look at Edwin, he says nothing. Look at the partygoers, and they say nothing. So let's go south again to the parlor, and then back out to the Arboretum. And Frank allows a whiskey buzz to lead him towards the Arboretum, across an enormously immaculate lawn, and into a vertical grip. He's convinced trees are older. Trees are immeasurably older than the herd. Trees are hardwired in our brains, carry root, sap, and leaf in our deepest personal mythologies. And then there's an arbor of trees. When he happens upon two lovers, tastefully necking on a bench, they feel his approach and break off. Okay. Let's go to this bench in the arbor. When he happens upon two lovers, they feel his approach and break off. So we go to the bench, and it's a cozy bench in the arbor, scene 101. And there's the bench. And there's two characters here, Illich and Melinda. Let's look at Illich. Frank, old boy, good to see you again. Well, Frank seems to know him. Doesn't say anything. Let's look at Melinda. Frank sees a look of welcome irritation wash the girl's face as the man gives him a big embrace. It's Illich, his Venezuelan friend from Moscow. Illich with a jaunty new mustache, still chasing expensive skirts. This one pouts and disappears. Well, Melinda's gone. So Frank looks at Illich. So they sit down on the bench in a leftover cloud of opium to catch up. So Illich is an old friend of Frank's, and he speaks to him. I went back to Caracas, says Illich, but ended up working for the wrong faction, and they threw me out. So we're both American exiles now, even if it took you a bit longer to find London. English women are the best in the world. Well, maybe not the best, but they love drugs and hold their liquor. So what more do you want? Would you like Melinda's number? And we are an observer of these two characters here now. As it says, it doesn't say you are Frank up here. These two guys catching up on the bench. Illich leans close, and you see there now they're whispering instead of talking. It says quiet whispers of talk. So let's see, look in, see what they're saying. You must tell me what happened to the diggers. Was it Hoover and the Weather Underground? Breaking Tim Leary out of jail was high art, exceptional. They're bluffing, Illich. They're just SDS kids, falling for their own press releases. They're retarded roadies who blew up the band by accident. So why are you here? I resigned. I'm here with Tony. Maybe so, Frank. But just the same, powerful individuals in certain covert organizations think you're still operational. I'm in flight. I'm not fighting anymore. Not in America and not in Europe. Let's go back to the party. I've got a better idea, Frank. Follow me. And with that, these two characters are now together in the inventory, which generally means that they're going to take a walk, or they're going to move from the current setting. But there's a bottle of vodka here. It is Absolute, and of course the red label. Let's take the bottle of vodka. Illich gives him a swig of warm Swedish vodka, and they wander through dewy fields, behind luxurious villas, to a small square cemetery shrouded in fog. We can go west now, from where the bench is. A path of finely clipped hedges. And we can go south, which takes us into scene number 103, a dark and spooky plot cemetery. And you see these crosses, these tombstones, and there's a big marble mausoleum with a large head on the top of it. Illich hops the wrought iron fence and waltzes smoothly to the spot. Frank lights their cigars with the irrepressible match of student conspiracy. They drink and smoke fast, two bulky profiles from North and South America, sitting below the big black marble head of Karl Marx. And in the inventory there is a Karl Marx statue. When we look at that, after 20 minutes they're toasted, praising each other in Russian slang, a little improvised soft shoe on his ornate Victorian gravestone, singing the International and all the pub dog roll they can recall. Death to capitalism, yells Illich. Death to capitalism, booms Frank, as they rumba hand to hip around the only philosopher who prized the world more than his own ideas. They finally get dizzy and fall to the wet grass laughing. And now we are Illich. And we're looking at our friend Frank and the statue here. And we speak. There's no interaction. Look at the statue. You can't speak. So we can go north, or since they're drinking, why not take the vodka bottle and pass it over to Frank for another hit. So Illich takes the vodka, gives it to Frank one more time. Use the vodka on Frank. One last salute to health, freedom, fraternity. Then a sodden, wobbling way back to Edwin's mansion. And when we can look, nothing there. We can go north, back to the clipped hedges, back to the bench on the parlor, go back to the Arboretum, and then we can go north, back to the mansion. The impressive parlor. And then we see there's a character, the butler. We can look at him. The butler gives them white terry bathrobes to replace their muddy jeans and jackets, and these prove to be of great interest to the bored birds lingering slim and witty from the first directions of another party. And so from that, let's keep going north here. And it takes us back to London. Tony, who's disappeared, I guess he's still with that girl. But Frank and Illich can go west. And that's scene 104, the quaint Green Park pub. And you can see there's a new chapter about to begin, the 3 names of Lenin. So with that, we're going to end chapter 12 right here. And thank you for watching this segment of Beyond Exile.